All right, guys, welcome to our team call. It is October 15th. And before I introduce my beautiful friend Karla, a couple quick announcements. Our third person hit Disney, so I wanted to do a quick shout out. So first we had Carly and Katie Nestor. Next we had Vanessa Iverson, and now we have Erin Peck Izzo. And right behind her is Zoe Dawn Scott. She's like right there with just a few more points needed. So it is just so exciting to see the points coming in and people earning this trip. So for those of you working for it, keep plugging away. You still have, almost 4 weeks left. So a lot of points can be had pretty quickly when you get people that start sharing right away. The next thing I wanted to share with you guys is I am going to be speaking at New Year's kickoff with my son Tyler and Susan Miller and her daughter Chelsea, and we're doing kind of a family piece and a legacy piece. And we had a call just this afternoon about New Year's kickoff. If you do not have your tickets, guys, get your tickets as soon as possible and tell your team you're going and fill your rooms and get there. It's going to be crazy awesome. The trainers were all on a call together. Emily Vavra, Hillary Courtney, oh my gosh, so many amazing people. And they gave us kind of a rundown, a high-level rundown of who's training on what, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. So you don't want to miss it. Get there and make sure you get your ticket as soon as possible and let everyone know that you're committed to going, because if you go, they'll go. And I've seen it over and over again. If people don't show up to something, their team doesn't. And then lastly, I want to make sure you're all plugged in 5 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday to isagenixlive.com to hear about some new products. And they're going to be doing a release this month and then next month. So this month on, I wrote this down today. It's a healthy living guide this week, and then next month it's going to be a healthy giving guide. So it's going to be 2 reasons for you to get in touch with all of your customers. All right. Without further ado, I want to introduce you guys to my friend Karla. I met Karla, oh my gosh, Karla, it's got to be 4 or 5 years ago now, coaching with Jeffrey Combs at an event. And then we were together at a couple events together with Jeffrey, and you're still coaching with him, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Years later, wow. And so I would see her at these events, and I just fell in love with her immediately. If you have not seen her speak yet, you'll know why we all love her so much and why Erica will give her a hug after this call, because she's a keeper. She's one of those beautiful people. Her smile lights up a room. She's a beautiful mother of 3 daughters. She was a former engineer, so she's super, super bright. She's taller than me, you guys, taller than me, so it's kind of fun to have that. You and Kelly Heimbach in a picture must be absolutely hysterical.
Yes, there's quite a difference there. We have one next to each other from the Canary Islands that we were talking about before the call.
Oh gosh, that's so great. And part of her story that I love, and we're going to start with her sharing, is that she was a customer for 6 years before she started building this business. So when I tell people never, ever, ever give up on people, that's what I mean, because you never know. You might have a customer that turns into a Karla who earns President's Quest, Welcome Home, Championship Challenge, all these trips and incentives, and has an amazing business. So Karla, thank you so much for being with us tonight. We're so excited to have you here.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Cindy. You know just how much I love and adore you, and I just admire you so much as a businesswoman, but especially as a person and a friend. And I'm so glad, I'm so thankful that our paths have crossed on this journey, and I just admire you. It's an honor to be on this call with all of you, and I'm so fired up and excited. So thank you so much for that awesome introduction.
Absolutely. So let's start with your story. Let's start how Isagenix found you and how you were a customer for 6 years, and then when that light bulb moment happened when you decided to switch.
Absolutely. So as of next month, it'll be 11 years since I said yes to Isagenix. And, at the time, I was involved with another direct sales company. It was a party-based system similar to many of you are probably involved with as well. And I like Cindy said, was a former engineer, and I'd left that career to do this other business full time, which I never regretted. However, business-wise, I was barely breaking even financially, even though I had a leadership position. And ultimately, that really just crushed my confidence. I loved the freedom. I loved the vision. I loved the people. I fell in love with everything about network marketing and direct sales, but I didn't believe that I could do it. I felt like I was doing everything I was supposed to do, even the personal development, the books, I was holding meetings, I was going way out of my comfort zone to warm chatter people, and it just wasn't coming together. And so I didn't believe I could do it. Around that time when I was still committed to that company, but struggling, Isagenix came into my life. It was actually my sponsor in that other company who introduced Isagenix to me. And she completely left the other company and switched over. And I wasn't ready to do that, but I was searching for some products because in my health, I had always been pretty slim, but I had started a corporate career, you know, and in the middle of that, I was trying to work out more and eat right, all the things that had worked in college, but I was getting bigger and I was just resigned to what everyone says is getting older, is that's just going to happen. And so I was really frustrated and stuck in my weight and resigned to that's how it was. My friend said, you got to try this. So I did. Right. And so I was already out of my other job. I was doing my other business full time, tried these products. I lost those last 10 sticky pounds in a short period of time. But what I really loved is that I was able to let go of that obsession about food, what I should eat, what I shouldn't eat, how much I should work out. And it was an easeful way to maintain my weight. So eventually that other business completely fell apart, and that outdated compensation plan actually took my team away from me because I wasn't making production, wasn't motivated to rebuild. I was heartbroken over that, but I was loving these products. So all through my pregnancies, through my first pregnancy, I gained 50 pounds, which I lost in 4 months while breastfeeding. Then I had twins and I gained 60 pounds and I lost that weight in 6 months. And I breastfed the twins for 2.5 years. And these products, this nutrition supported me the entire way. And what's kind of fascinating about my journey is that when I came in, I wasn't really aware of nutrition. I was just interested in the weight loss. But then as I became a mom, I became aware of the importance of eating clean foods. I would look at Isagenix and think, wow, I'm already doing that. And as my knowledge and appreciation of nutrition and health has grown, like the deeper I go into Isagenix, the more I learn, the better it gets, the more I appreciate it. And I'll never go a day without these products. And then at the peak of my fitness level, I decided to compete. I did one fitness show following Kathy Savage's, fitness routine. And I got in the best shape of my life. The twins were 3 years old at the time. And then I had those twin 3-year-olds and a 5-year-old, got 6-pack abs, felt amazing, never felt deprived on these products. I was really proud of that fitness competition. And so these products supported me through all of that. Business-wise, I was still in this story in my head, those of you who heard it in Chicago, that I wasn't good enough to do this business. However, when our girls were in the private school that we loved, and my husband started to talk about not knowing how long we could afford to keep them in the school, I thought, no, wait a second. This is not up for negotiation. This is the school that we found and we love for them. We're not taking them out. But I understood what he meant, because the cost was going to go up for going from 1 in school to then 3 in school all at once. That was a big jump in our finances. So that's when I became open to the opportunity. I attended my first event, which was a university in action. I got to work. It wasn't overnight, as many of you heard, and I'm glad to go into that if you want, Cindy, later. But eventually I was able to more than replace my previous engineering income, win these trips and awards, and just have this foundation of freedom for our family that has completely changed our lives, given us more choices and ease in our life.
That's awesome. I love that story. And I love, I think so many people are under the impression that it just goes so quickly, and they see the Lynn Hagedorns who, are, it looks like they're overnight millionaires. And we know she came from another company and she really learned the skills, and it took years for her to hit millionaire. But newer people sometimes compare themselves, right, to other leaders. So when I hear your story, I just think it gives so many people hope that if it hasn't gone as quickly as they would like it to go, well, look at you. I mean, you mildly shared in the beginning. And then what I want to know is, when you made that decision, what did you have to change? Like, what were your day-to-day activities? What did you have to change in order to go from there to earning President's Quest? Because so few people earn that. Erica's the only one on our team to ever earn it. I've never earned it. Very few people earn that trip. That's like and now we can't earn it. So there's always new things coming up. But how did you go from, casually sharing to that?
Right. Well, thanks for asking. To be honest, I don't know that I was ever really casually sharing intentionally, because when I had made the decision to go for it, previous to that, I'd enrolled my husband and my mom and my dad under her. And that was it. So when I decided to do this as a business 5 years ago, if you looked at my numbers, it looked like I was casually sharing, but inside I was all in. And so even though my results were slow, I was very committed and I was doing the work consistently. So, but what I realized early on was that I had to change, because of the first 30 people I reached out to, I was thinking, oh, I'm going to go executive right away. Like, I'm all in, I'm going to do this. I'm willing to work hard. But I was so in my head and so scared of what people would think that it took me forever to reach out, and my posture was not very confident. Of the first 30 people I reached out to, only one said yes, and she returned her products. And if you also heard me share it at ICU, the embarrassing story of when I was started to branch out and talk to strangers about Isagenix and try to ask questions and build rapport and bring in Isagenix. It was so awkward. I talked to this gentleman at the airport waiting for a flight. He literally stood up and walked away and sat down in a different chair. That's how bad I was. So for me, instead of using that as my excuse to stop, which it very logically could have been, I took that as feedback, as the thing I needed to change was my level of confidence, my level of personal development. And so really, from the beginning of when I started, honestly, like earning President's Quest kind of brought me into the spotlight, and people who knew me were like, oh my gosh, what did you change? And I'm like, I didn't really change anything. I've been doing the same thing for, 2 years at that point, or 2 or 3 years at that point, and it's 3 years at that point. It's just the repetition of doing it, even when there wasn't results, is what created the results. And I think that is the message. Because when I left that first event, I committed to reaching out to people on my list every single day. My number was 3. And it doesn't really matter what your number is, as long as you pick one, you do it daily. So every day I would message to invite 3 new people to take a look at Isagenix. I would call them, I would message them, I would text them every single day. Before my head hit the pillow at night, I would do that. It was probably like 2 years straight. And then I would do it during 90-day runs. Whatever my number was, I was super committed to that. And so I believe it was my consistency that allowed me to grow, that eventually led to President's Quest, which was the same for me, was totally out of the blue. Totally out of the blue. I had no idea I was qualifying for President's Quest, because I had seen it, right? And I'd seen the formula, and it's currently Leader in Action. It was called Millionaire in Action at the time. And I'd seen people who'd won the President's Quest before, and it was people who were millionaires. So I never imagined that I was doing the work that would qualify me for this until 10 months in of this 12-month qualification. This list comes out from corporate. They published it on ISA FYI. And I remember like somebody tagged me in a post, and it was kind of typos, and it was something like, Karla, you in this, or something. It didn't make sense. I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. They think that I could qualify for President's Quest. Somebody thinks really highly of me. That's so sweet. So I clicked on it, though, out of curiosity, to look at the famous Isagenix people, and I saw my name on there, on this alphabetical list of the top 35 at the time. I'm like, oh my gosh, I must be 35 out of 35, but what an honor to be on this list. Like, how is this possible? I remember feeling like my head was like swirling, trying to grasp onto the reasoning, like, how is this possible? But the thing I knew I was good at was consistency. I was very consistent every day, even though
it pays off. It pays
Yes.
off. So you might not have seen the results in the first year, but you'd kept going and kept going and kept going. And I think so many people give up when they don't see the results right away. So that's so inspiring that you just kept doing the do until you saw the results happen for you. All right. Well,
Yes.
I have to ask, this wasn't on my list, but I see your whiteboard papers on the wall. We need to know what are you tracking back there? Because that'll probably help us too.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, it's kind of a hot mess over here, but so I have vision board here. I have hot leads here. And then here I have the compensation plan. I actually have a different board. Oh, it's rolled up, but this is the bonuses to 10,000, the first 10,000. I actually have it out to 50,000. And that's the presentation that I usually do, including the leadership bonuses. So that's especially if I'm speaking to somebody and they tell me how much they want to earn. Well, to get to that number in bonuses, this is how far you go. So that's the map to executive with all the bonuses. And then the other one is a list down the middle is all my personally enrolled on my list to promote to consultant. And then I have a right column and left column for my right team and my left team for people who have achieved consultant or higher and what's their next rank advancement. So I put what's their next one. This is from Alexis Romano, that last left side, right side. That's her system that I copied.
All right. I'm just taking notes here. Okay. And do you follow the leader in action? Is that something that, that you follow every month? The leader in action formula?
Yeah, the one thing I have in the habit of being in my mind is an average of 5 personal enrollments and 2 new personally enrolled consultants. And that's really how I earned President's Quest, because I heard Herb Cepeda once say that that's what he did to grow his business. And that felt reasonable to me. So that's what I set as my target, not knowing that that was leader in action formula.
That's so cool. And I heard today on a training that they're going to be using that leader in action form with whatever new promotion they're announcing at New Year's kickoff. So guys, be sure that you know that, you follow it. We're trying to enroll 15 people before the end of the year. So we're ready to go for this new incentive, whatever it is. So we want to be doing that. All right. So how about, can you share with everybody what is your daily method of operation? What things are just non-negotiables you have to do before you go to sleep at night?
Thanks. That's a great question. So before the day, I time block my ideal day, but then I'm very flexible because usually the time blocks change. But I always include reaching out to new people, just like I always have. And it'll fluctuate. It might be 1, it might be 5, it might be 20, depending, but I always am reaching out to new people. Connecting with brand new people, even if Isodenix doesn't come up, is just something I do naturally. I don't force that, but I'm intentional about it. And then posting every day on social media and following the people who I am intentionally prospecting. I will love on their posts. So those are the things. I also, meditate. I also do something, a podcast or a video to train every day, just a mindset piece. Because for me, I find that I like to get into the doing, but if I do that too much and I get away from what some people might think is the woo-woo stuff, I totally fall apart and nothing works and nothing is effective. And so I have to be disciplined in the reading and the meditation and the affirmations and things like that also.
Yeah, I do that too. Absolutely. Okay. So how about, do you do in-home presentations, parties, socials, sip and samples, any of those?
Great question. So I did do those consistently for a couple years. That's when I had one team member, especially local to me, who was very active. We stopped doing that when my daughter had a challenging diagnosis, because we had to be very careful about who we came to house because she has a compromised immune system. But what I started doing, actually last year in December, is every other Thursday, I would reserve a room at a local Applebee's. I do an opportunity presentation there instead of at our house. So we took a break for summer, and then I've been traveling so much that we haven't gotten back to that, but that's what we've done in the past.
Great. And how about as a team, do you do Facebook events? Do you do Zooms for your team, opportunity things that way? Or do you plug into what corporate already does?
Yeah, so when I was brand new, I was a consultant. I didn't come into a big team that had systems in place. So I set up my own call ever since I was a consultant or manager. So every Sunday night, we still have that going. We have a team audio call, like a teleconference. That's every single Sunday night. That is an opportunity call. Currently, it's evolved. It used to be more of a training. Now it's more opportunity. Then on Tuesday night, we have a team Zoom where we have business training for that. And then once a month, we have a team virtual party opportunity event. In fact, we have our next one this coming Thursday, and that's where we share transformations from our team in a Facebook event page, and people invite their prospects to check it out.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. And how do you feel about events, and how have events helped your business?
Events are key to everything. I mean, everything started for me at an event, and I make it a point to be at one of each of the core 4 events every year, because I feel like our company is so good at setting us up for success. They've intentionally put together these core 4 events for us. So I make sure that I am there because I'm setting an example for my team, and I rally everybody to get there as well. And the evidence is always there. The people who show up for the events are the ones who are promoting. They're the ones that are rank advancing. They're the ones who are enjoying their business the most. And so we have promotions in our team to get tickets. We do drawings, and I post in my team page every week an update on who's purchased tickets to their core 4 events.
That's a good idea. Awesome. All right. So one thing that just blows my mind, and a lot of people don't know your story about your daughter being sick. So if you want to share that, and maybe how Isagenix has helped you during this time. But even during this time, as challenging as it's been, you have showed up to event after event after event. And so many people use their children or their work or their life circumstances as an excuse to not go to events like that. And honestly, you inspire me in so many ways, but I remember seeing you shortly after your daughter's diagnosis. I can remember being outside. I don't remember where we were, but we were chatting, and I was like, I am so surprised you're here. And I just loved what you had to say about that. So share a little bit about, how Isagenix has helped you during this time, and how you've still been able to manage to go to events and make that a priority.
Thank you. So yes, to update everyone, if you didn't know, last year, one of our twins at the age of 5 was diagnosed with leukemia. And she's still in treatment. We made it through the first 5 or 6 months, which were the most intense, and now she's in a maintenance treatment plan. But I am so grateful for residual income. I am so grateful I pushed through all those no's in the beginning, getting our private school paid for, because that grew the business to this foundation of now having this income. So when that first happened, I had the choice to completely step away from my business. It was about 2 months where I really didn't do much at all, but yet my income didn't go down at all. And then as I was able to work myself back in, my team just stepped up. And I know, part of their heart a lot, they knew that by them working, it was supporting me also. We had 2 new executives rise up in our team within the 7 months after that. I mean, I got to my 4-star rank advancement in that time frame also in those months following. So it was definitely a team effort. But what I feel beyond the financial side is that the emotional discipline that I developed in this journey helped me to stay present with her through all of it. And going to events was a big part of that too. I mean, if there weren't any that were really close, probably, maybe like a month or 2 after diagnosis. One of the big reasons I showed up to that first one, I believe it was a UIA in Atlanta. Was that the one where I saw you? But I had run a, possibly, I don't know. But I went to a bunch, but I'd run a promotion for my team to go on a limo ride and out to dinner one of the nights after that event. And so I went to that event for them, and it was refreshing for me to get away. We're at a point then that my husband, was taking turns, and my family was helping with shifts in the hospital, and it really helped to renew me to be around the people who had the same mindset, right? So I could come back and work this business, because the business was what was sustaining us during this time, because my husband was taking time off from his corporate job, unpaid, but we didn't have stress around that because Isagenix was still paying for us. So, it was really, a lot of the attending events in that time was driven by supporting my team, but I knew I needed it too. So you might need to refresh my memory of what I said to you specifically.
Yeah. Well, just that, I remember you talking about how, well, of course it was nice to have a little bit of a mental escape for yourself, but that you really needed to continue to build this business even during that time, because it was so helpful to allow you that time to be with her in the hospital. And I've just followed you on social media, and I mean, you're always there, and you were working in the hospital room with her, and you just haven't had to miss anything, and you've been able to be there with her. And it's so great to see her hair coming back in, and the trips that you've been able to take. And you got to do a Make-A-Wish trip or not yet?
Yeah, she's chosen her wish, but we have yet to take it. So she wants to go to Hawaii and ride in a helicopter. So they see turtles or whales or something. So she has a list of things, and they're working on putting it together for her.
That's great. That's great. All right. So how about last couple questions? What advice could you give to people on this call who are building their business? Some are in a flat zone right now, where company-wide enrollments are down and rank advancements are down, and so we're all getting ready for that next level of growth. We just got to hear Susan Miller talk about it at a Super Saturday, and if anyone can get people fired up about what's to come, what's getting ready to happen with our doubling our growth in the next 3 years, it's her. She's amazing, but we're getting ready for that. So what advice could you give to people that really, really want this?
Oh, great question. And, no matter what level you are or how long you've been doing this, there are always going to be moments where it feels like nothing is working, or that it's plateaued or even gone down. And just being open, my personal cycles are pretty flat right now. But what I have learned on my journey is that the key to success is to continue to work even when it seems like nothing's working, even when it feels like you're doing everything totally wrong and it's not going to pay off. I really feel like that is the difference. So, follow the leaders, that what they're doing, and then stay into it consistently. I mean, that's my recommendation, is that don't stop just because you don't feel like it. Don't, because we all go through those moments where we feel like, oh, like nothing's working. Like, is there something wrong with me? Do I need to change something? And yes, take everything as feedback, but just don't stop. Just don't stop. That's the difference. Like, if everyone had those moments, but the people who have success are people who continue to work even during those times.
Yep. Continue to work when no one's watching, when it doesn't feel pretty, just keep plugging away and stay plugged in too. I think a lot of people are kind of gas on, gas off. I always say, keep your foot down, keep your head down, stay focused, and keep charging towards your goal, because, sometimes you don't see it for a year. Like, you were consistently planting seeds and doing the do for a long time. So when it seemed like you were an overnight success earning President's Quest, you've been doing the work for a long time. It just finally showed up for you in results.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, awesome.
I heard Jessica Johnson say something that stuck with me. She's like, sometimes she puts the pedal to the metal, and sometimes she eases up on the gas, but she never takes her foot off.
Yeah.
The pedal.
Never.
And that's what I feel like. Sometimes we're in a 90-day run or a contest push where you're really intense, but never ever stop. Never ever completely stop.
Awesome. All right. So what's your next goal?
My next goal is 5-star.
5-star. And when are you wanting to do that by?
Next year's celebration.
Okay. And let's just chat one last thing. What do you do for your personal development, coaching, all of that? What do you do for that aspect of it?
Thanks. I do still coach with Jeffrey. I've had so many breakthroughs with him, and he continues to give me feedback that is very valuable to me. So I'm coaching with him. But daily I'm on podcasts. I surround myself not just with Isagenix millionaires, but people who are successful in life. Some of my favorites are Chris Harder's. I can't think of the name right now.
I can't either, but I know what you're talking about.
But good people
For
make
the love of money.
For love of money. Thank you, Kelly. Yes. So for the love of money, Rob Murgatroyd has Work Hard, Play Hard. That's also good. David Wood stuff is amazing. And so I always have stuff in my ears that's listening to people who are successful. I also love MLM Nation with Simon Chan. He interviews top people from all different network marketing companies, including many Isagenix top people. And I always get great nuggets of information from his podcast as well.
Awesome. How about books? Are you a book reader?
I love books, but I am really good at starting them and not making it through. So I prefer the audio versions of them. So You Are a Badass was one of my recent favorites that I especially loved.
Yeah, that was a really good one. And another one, if you haven't read it or listened to it, I have the audio, is Girl Wash Your Face. That's a real good one. Have you read that one? Or listened?
About it.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. All right. Any last words of wisdom to everyone here? You know, we're working on our 90-day action plan. A lot of them have rank advancement goals. We do know we were going to have some new products coming out with the launch of this, new holiday seasonal catalog and some new things coming up. What should they do between now and New Year's kickoff?
So between now and New Year's kickoff, I feel the most powerful thing that you can do is start showing up today as if your goal is already achieved, especially during this week. Like this week could be the week that that goal is achieved. And so what I find in my leaders and in myself when running towards a goal, there's always going to be this moment where it feels like, oh my gosh, this is all just fell apart. It's not going to happen. And in that moment, it's easy to give up. But time after time, the people who achieve the goals are the ones who still carry the belief, which is a skill, I think. They still carry the belief that something's going to happen. Like believe in the miracle, believe in the intention. Because if you believe, it just might happen. If you don't believe, then you've already stopped and it's not going to be there. So decide your goal, show up as if it's done, and do the daily work. Maybe grab an accountability partner, somebody else who has a similar goal, and just each day talk to each other. We did actually something in my team during our 90-day runs. We'll have a really early morning 10-15-minute team call, and we're accountable to the number of reaches that we've had each and every day. Well, everyone just says a number, no story, just the number. And that way, we're all in the game together. So that's what I'd say. Just work consistently and don't stop.
Love it. Love it. And love having accountability partners. That always motivates you. So that you don't want to let someone else down. Sometimes we'll let ourselves down, but we don't want to let someone else down.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right, Karla. Well, I can't thank you enough for being here with us. I hope you've been reading the feed over there. Erica wants you to push your goal date up. But lots of great feedback over there for you, and we can't thank you enough. And continued prayers for your daughter for complete healing, and can't wait to see you on the big stage again training and see what's next for you. And we just adore you, my friend.
Oh, thank you so much, Cindy. This was a treat, and I love seeing all your faces. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for the invitation, Cindy. I just love and admire you so much again. So thank you.
All right, guys. Have a great night, everyone.